Your Uri was telling me you don't feel what, strong tonight?
I don't feel strong.
What?
It's not all tonight. Right now I'm feeling being pressed, and then I can't.
Well, I'm not trying to press you. I really not.
No, you're only telling me, well, will you try that or that?
Well, I thought that was the idea of. No, I'm not trying to push you down.
You know me, I gotta get into the flow state before we start the video. I'm the greatest YouTuber, and that's all there is to it. So thank you. You're welcome. Let me know what you think in the don't let me know what you think in the comments. Every time I read a negative comment, I shit my pants. So I don't want to. Do you ever shit your pants? I don't want to squirt when I'm not ready. Okay, can we get to the video? Listen, I know what I'm doing. I'm Paris Hilton. I play it off like I'm an idiot, but I got an intellect. Okay, it's in my head. Today's video is all about psychics and how they just make me cringe. I don't know if you know, back in the day, I used to be a magician. Your boy used to do magic. Now, I was mostly in high school, so I know it doesn't really count, and I even did a magic show that I honestly need to react to. It's one of those things where I either should react to it or bury it in the backyard so nobody can ever watch it. It's one of those that I'm going to do. So put it in the comments. Vote now. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so I used to do magic. I whipped a nip out or two. The whole trick in being a magician, specifically tailoring the audience's attention to a specific place at a specific point in time. You're controlling that perspective. One of the things about magic, it led me to psychics. Psychics will impose the same type of trickery that magicians use. I understand there are things that science maybe hasn't been able to prove. There are always going to be unknowns about reality and existence, right? Things we're not going to understand. But the one thing we do understand is that anybody ever through the history of time who has ever claimed to talk to the dead, there's no evidence, right? When I first saw Criss Angel, I thought he had powers. And I remember I tried to levitate a can of Coke, and it didn't work like it did on the TV when he did it. It wasn't until I got older that I realized, oh, it's all just tricks and illusions. It's not real magic, real. There's like a wonderful quote about magic by Lee Siegel. It goes something like, he's like, I'm writing a book on magic, and he was asked, real magic? By real magic, you mean thaumaturgical acts, supernatural powers, things of that nature. And Lee says, no, I'm writing a book on like conjuring tricks and illusions, not real magic. Real magic, in other words, refers to the magic that's not real, while the magic that's real and can actually be done is not real magic. I don't have a problem with entertainment, fun, lighthearted, pull a handkerchief out of my dick, but where I have an issue is where you start lying to people, where you start telling people I'm talking to your dead relative. And I understand that we don't know everything about reality. We don't know what happens after death. We don't know where the rainbow ends, okay? These are things we just don't know, but it doesn't mean that we can't find out where the end of the rainbow is. It's right here. So today's video comes to us from, I think its name is Chode Munch. I don't know. It's a great name. I mean, if it's not Chode Munch, then it should be Chode Munch, because there's nothing I like better than munching on some chodes. Wow. We're going to start off with James Randi. And if you don't know who James Randi is, wonderful human being. He's not here anymore. James Randi was really big on exposing psychics. And he actually had a $1 million challenge. It was called the James Randi Foundation. And it was a $1 million challenge to anybody who claimed they could talk to the dead. And it was basically, you were put under a certain set of standardized tests to show if what you had was actual powers. So this is psychic cringe. Now, it's fails number 2. I haven't seen the first one. The reason I chose this one is because James Randi is amazing, and the clips in this video really showcase how ridiculous psychics are and how you shouldn't tell people that you can talk to the dead. People have been claiming this for centuries. I know some of you over there are going to say, oh, well, I have a Ouija board and I talked to somebody. No, you didn't. It's just like that old tale at, midnight. You go into the bathroom and you have a candle and you stare into the mirror and you say Bloody Mary like 5 times, and then she comes out and starts giving you a lap dance. None of that's real. None of it's true. Don't try it. I already did it. Bloody Mary ain't coming out tonight. It's funny how much you believe when you're younger, and then you get older and you look back and you're like, why the fuck did I believe that? And it's like, well, just because someone told you it was real and you didn't question it and you started believing it. And then if you don't question a belief and you just believe it, it'll turn into a fact. So go to Chode Munch, let them know that we're loving their content. If you want to subscribe, go right ahead. I'm not your father, okay? I'm not your mother. I'm not your sister, okay? Why would I be? If you're going to subscribe, thank you. If you're not, then that's fine. You don't have to. I'm not going to... Listen, no one's going to force you to subscribe, okay? So just don't... Let's get to the video. Just turned into a disco. What's happening? We're going to dive in. All right, here we go. Woo. I'm going to wibba-divot. I'm going to wibba-divot it in. First video is going to be, I believe it's from James Randi's show that he used to do where he would bring on psychics and expose them, basically. I mean, there was never one psychic that went on the show that showed any powers. I mean, do you know what headlines that would make if somebody actually had powers? And come to think of it, it's like if you had magical powers, if you had special abilities, I don't think that going on a show or having your own show in Vegas would be the moral thing to do. I think you'd want to have people lined up outside and be healing them left and right. That's the only moral thing. That's what Jesus would do, okay? Would Jesus have a show in Las Vegas? Probably not, all right? He doesn't want to get nailed to the cross more than he has to. I got to stop because I'm now getting into territory that's a little iffy and I don't want to get canceled, okay? Don't cancel me because I'll do it myself.
Do people remember accurately what takes place in a reading? Well, we have with us tonight Mr. Rod Beal. Mr. Beal, you're a satisfied client of Maureen's, I understand. Is that correct?
Yes.
She did a reading for you not too long ago, which I understand you think is a very good reading.
Yes, she did.
How long did the thing last, first of all, the reading?
About half an hour.
About half an hour. How many names, pardon me, did she give you during that period of half an hour? would you
Probably
say?
half a dozen.
About half a dozen. And did they all hit?
Not everyone.
You were kind enough to give us a tape recording of that reading done by Maureen Flynn for you. And for your information, during your reading, Maureen Flynn tried these names, and they are on the tape of the reading that you're referring to. Alan, Alfred, Alice, Anne, Bill, Charlie, Colin, Connie, David, Derek, Eileen, Ellen, Flory, Frank, Fred, George,
Wow.
Jim, Joe, John, Karen, Catherine, Kevin,
Probably a lot
Lillian,
more names than he
Lisa,
remembers.
Liz, Lynn, Mark, Mary, May, Michael, Rob, Ron, Shirley.
And that's the thing, too, that you have to remember about going to a medium. Because if you've ever been to a psychic or to a medium, it can feel like when it's over and you leave, it can really feel like, oh my God, they got so much right. Number one, you forget all the misses. You usually, as human beings, we remember the hits. We remember the things that they got right, but we seldom remember all of the misses that happened. For example, in this situation, this guy thought, oh, it was just a couple of names that she kind of shot out. And James is reading 40 names that she went through, and this guy didn't remember any of that. They do what's called cold reading, which is where they will be able to coax information out of you without you even knowing. You're literally giving them information without even knowing it.
That's 37 names, and she also asked you if you could connect with any name beginning with an N or an L, and you could not do so. You did accept 9 of the 37 that were given. These were some of the categories: a son, a lodger, a brother, a nephew, an adopted nephew, a grandfather, a fellow worker, a cousin, and the neighbor's dog.
Right out of context.
We have a
Copy of it.
transcript of it right here, sir, and you may have that transcript to refer to it, and the names, I think, are outlined there, all 37 of them.
You can analyze anything. You can analyze Encyclopedia Britannica.
You know, you could analyze it forever and, you know, think that this is right or wrong or whatever. They got something out of it and they felt like they have a connection, but it's lies. It's fucking lies. That's not a good reason. It's like stealing from somebody, but they didn't know that you stole. Well, what's the harm? They don't know that their wallet is missing. And as long as they don't look for their wallet, but that's not a rational reason to take the wallet, you know? Just because the person might feel better after your encounter with them, or just because they might feel like they're closer with that deceased person now, doesn't make what you did right. By lying and making it seem like, oh, you're really talking to them. And again, I'm not trying to say that these people are liars, okay? I don't know the truth, but I'm not about to get sued, okay? She gave them how many names? And then went through every single kind of male person that would be in your family. A brother, an uncle, an adopted son, a regular son. How about the neighbor's dog? If this person is really talking to the dead It shouldn't be this, like, out of these 37 names, which one gels with you? They'd be able to just tell you the information. Hey, Bob says this from beyond the motherfucking grave. That's what it would be like. It wouldn't be this word search. Harry Houdini, for the second half of his life, was really big on exposing charlatans and mediums and people who claimed to talk to the dead. And Harry had a secret word that he gave to his wife so that if anybody after Harry died said they were talking to him, she would know if it was true or not. And guess what? No one ever had said the word. So I can already tell what this next clip is. So for those who don't know, there is a famous mentalist named Uri Geller. Now, Uri Geller got really big in the 70s. Not weight-wise, really famous. And he got famous because he claimed he actually had powers. Like, he actually claimed magical powers and such. There's a brilliant story that Penn Jillette told about this situation that I'm going to just butcher right now, but I'll put a link in the video if you guys want to hear Penn tell the story of how this video that we're about to see came together. So Johnny Carson, obviously the godfather of The Tonight Show, he didn't like people that claimed they could talk to the dead. And Uri Geller was blowing up on the scene for being a mentalist and I can bend spoons. And, because when you have mental powers, the best thing you can do is have a show, not, cure world hunger. Johnny decides, all right, we're going to get this guy on the show, but we're not just going to have him on the show and let him do his, song and dance in front of everybody. What we're going to do is we're going to really see if this guy says who he says he is. It was an urban legend that Uri Geller would have some people that would come on to the show that weren't part of the show but pretended to be part of the show to kind of swap out objects and, make it so that Uri's powers could work better. And Johnny wanted to put a stop to that, say, no one's on this lot. Nobody is allowed on this lot. And he also made sure that Uri Geller had a personal assistant so that anything Uri wanted, he could have. And this person followed Uri everywhere he went. And so Uri couldn't swap out the stuff so his magical powers would work. And so Johnny has him on the show. And Uri comes out here and Johnny literally just laid out some objects, some canisters of water, some spoons, and basically just says to Uri, show us what you can do. And the whole time Uri's just like, maybe later, because he knows his powers aren't going to work. And he even says that, I think, at one point. He's just like, oh, yeah, I'm not feeling it today. And, oh, you're not. And Johnny just lets him die. Just lets him fucking die live on television. This is 1973.
I've been reading a lot of research on him from the Stanford Research Institute and from the science section of the New York Times. A lot of publicity on this gentleman whose name is Uri, U-R-I, Uri Geller. He is from Israel, and he's been the subject of a lot of study and quite a bit of controversy. Claims to have been born, as I understand it, with the power of having psychokinetic ability, which is the movement of objects by sometimes not touching them by the mind, but without any physical touching of the objects.
Right.
And I tend to be sometimes skeptical, which may not be fair to him. You should probably have an open mind on this. Would you welcome, please, Uri Geller? Nice to see you.
This is why it was such a big deal with Uri, because he literally was claiming that since he was a boy, he was able to move objects. And so that's why Johnny had such a hard-on for this guy, because, I mean, as you heard, Uri was literally being, like, tested and studied by certain science establishments. We're literally looking into this guy as if maybe he does have some powers. Because back in the 70s, everybody had mustaches or whatever. People were smoking on live television. It was a different time. You can see just how nervous Uri looks here. He is just like, I don't know about this.
We have only met...
This scares me.
This scares you? Well, we just got some things together here, and as I said, as you progress and do what you want to do tonight, well, you can tell us what you would like to try, and we'll leave it up to you.
I'll try when I'll really feel up to it, okay?
That's what I understand. I have seen you on television before, and you say that sometimes you have to be in a certain frame of mind. You sometimes will pass on a particular experiment because you're honest and say, I don't feel it, or I am not getting the thought. Is that true?
That's true. I really have to be in the mood to
yeah, and I also think, too, because this was in America, he was from Israel, he has this accent, he did kind of appear mysterious to people. So, like, people really thought that this guy had magical powers.
This guy had time to bend a nail, an hour, 2 hours, or unlimited time, then it'll happen in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not only up to my mood, but up to To the people who are, watching it and wanting it to happen, telepathy is telepathy. There are no tricks here. If I do it, it's done with real powers. But you see, I'm also a skeptic. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Maybe there are many people who have these powers and do not know.
We have a variety of objects sitting here. We have also, as per your request earlier this afternoon, and if you want to try that or whenever you feel like it, and I'd like you to take your own pace when you feel like you want to try anything.
Right.
Do you want to try that particular experiment first?
When I'll feel free.
When
I feel free.
Sure.
When I'm ready.
We have some aluminum canisters. These are the type of aluminum canisters, I guess a roll of film would come in. All of these objects have been supplied by us. You did not bring anything here at all.
If you actually had real powers, like allegedly, if you really had powers, you would be helping the world. You wouldn't be doing these stupid little, let me bend a nail with my fucking mind. Nobody needs nails bent. Like, does anybody need a nail bent? Nobody does. Nobody needs that. I want my nails straight as a fucking arrow, okay?
So, would you like to try anything here?
Why don't you ask some more questions?
Yeah!
Want me to ask you some more questions? You have to
When did you discover this power, Doreen?
Well, I think I was really born with this power. First time I was about 7 years old, the psychokinesis power. I would concentrate on my wristwatch and I could move the hands of the watch just by concentration.
Dude, I bet you, and this is just my opinion, but I bet you that Uri probably really believed when he was younger that he really had powers. I bet you any money that that's where a lot of this stemmed from. It's not that Uri is like a conniving sort of bad person. It's just that I think that when he was younger, he probably thought that he did have powers. Like he said, he looked at his watch and he was able to make the hand move. Maybe he really thought that he did that, and that spiraled into a magic career or whatever. And as he got older, he started realizing that, maybe I don't have these powers, but I've already kind of told people that I do, and I'm getting fame from it, so I have to keep, I don't know. It's just crazy to think, like, you're on live national television, and deep down that you don't have powers. Very nervous, very much, I don't want to touch those objects. I want you to keep asking me questions so the time can keep going by.
It wasn't always under my control. And then I noticed that later, it didn't happen all the same day, that one of the hands is bent inside the watch, which you cannot touch by hand.
And that's the thing, too. Like, a lot of the time when people have a belief, they stick with that belief. If you don't question that belief, like I said, it turns into a fact. And then you're never going to question. This is how ideologies, religions, cults, this is how all of this is built. You have a belief that starts out as a belief, but if not checked, it will turn into a fact, and then it will never be questioned. Maybe when he was a kid, he did see, the watch hand is bent. He doesn't know how it got bent, but he thinks, I must have done it. I have these powers. And so you believe you have these powers, and then, you go on with your life, and you're not questioning that. You start doing tricks for people, and you're doing a little bit of manipulation, but it's okay because I have these powers. And then before you know it, you're on live television doing this. And I have to say allegedly, because I don't want to get sued by her. Not that he's going to ever see this video and sue me, but because I'm not trying to say that he has or doesn't have powers. I don't know. But if you had powers, would you be on live television bending nails? That's a question you should ask yourself.
These powers exist, and I sort of have them and can control them.
But then you just said in the other sentence that you kind of can't control it because it kind of comes when it wants to. So this is kind of the out that they use. I can't always do it. I got to do it when I'm ready. I got to do it when I'm feeling it. I got to do it when you're not paying attention and I can do some sleight of hand.
Are you feeling in the mood yet?
Bro!
Huh? More questions?
All right,
What's the capital of South Dakota?
Yeah, there's 20 questions. Here we go.
No, I don't mean to press you.
Okay,
Let me explain to the audience at home that he has not touched these objects in any way. They were brought over here by our property man.
So I'll just move my hands over them, and if I'll feel for...
And one of them contains water
I
of
like
the 10.
to do it the way we'll start eliminating the ones that do not have the water. That's the way I did it at SRI.
Without touching them.
Without touching them.
Uri's PR people, how they thought this was a good idea to go on the Johnny Carson show. Maybe they didn't know that Uri was not going to be able to use his own props. The idea of going on live national television without having your own props and then doing demonstrations that you can't do, I just find that career suicide. It is definitely exposure. Millions of Americans are going to know who you are now.
Now, what I do now is try to have a sort of a feeling where the water is.
feel that water.
Take gently the middle one out without touching
Take the
anything.
middle one out.
I hope there's water.
Remove that. Obviously, that is empty.
He is really suspicious, you know. I'm having a hard time with you.
I don't mean to be, Yuri. I really
No,
don't.
just if I miss, then I miss. Usually I pass if I don't feel for it, but if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong. I'll also be a little disappointed, but
Just a way out if this doesn't work. Oh, yeah, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
see,
It's
Johnny, what
50-50,
happens
really.
here, trying to make it longer, I'm trying to feel. If there's no feeling, then I can't do it. And that's it.
Gotta have that feeling. Feel it with those chest hairs. Okay. What is he doing?
You know, I'm surprised because before this program, your producer came and he read me at least 40 questions you're going to ask me.
In the middle of the demonstration, he's just, I thought you were going to ask me some questions. What are you doing, Uri? I don't think my nips could be harder.
Give me a little more time.
All right.
A little more time.
No, we'll cut away from a commercial, and I will verify, and everybody in the studio will verify that nobody will touch the objects, okay? Obviously, we don't have, unlimited time on a television show. I wish we did.
We don't have forever. Oh, my
Which one
God.
is the breast?
Fine, I feel fine myself.
In other words, this is something you just have to feel, and you can't be pressed on
That's it. It can be pressed, and I'm sorry if that's it. Okay, eliminate this one also.
Eliminate that one.
What's amazing, too, is if he were to get this right, like just by pure chance, he would be immortalized because no one would be able to explain it. If he was able to, figure out which one had the water just by dumb luck, I mean, he could then say, I did it on live television. I have superpowers. Believe me, I don't have to do anything. Just watch this clip. He could just keep going and hope that he picks the right one. Your chances of being wrong are way higher. So, it's probably better to not do that. I think it's better if you just button up that shirt.
First of all, I don't force anybody to come to my appearances, and believe me, you see, there it is, and I'm trying to do and succeed. Usually, of course, I don't walk into an audience and they tell me, here, we laid down 20 cans, find it. I can't work that way. I have time, I sit down, you feel, do it. Now, in an audience, I feel much more free. I know that nothing will happen to me.
I swear to God, he's literally saying, I have to be able to have my props and my stage and my people behind me, and then I can do all these amazing things. But if I don't have that, then I just can't do it. And it's like, yeah, dude, because you're a magician. Again, this is all allegedly. I'm not trying to get sued by Uri.
Would you like to go on to the other experiment, the one where we made someone drew an object and it's double sealed in the envelope?
Oh, yeah,
Or
I'm
would you
sure
like
he
to
would
continue with this?
Well,
love to do that.
This one is not over yet. I'm going to
No,
come back
sure
to you.
not.
Can you take this spoon in your hand?
Put this spoon in my hand. This one.
Take it. Hold it open it and put your other hand on it, gently, like that. I'll put my hand over your finger. Tell me if you feel, and press it, like, feel the whole, tell me if you feel anything coming from my hand. And I'm not touching him.
As you touch him.
Yes.
Good.
I'm not touching him. Does that guy have his eyes closed? This is what makes me think that Uri really believed that he had powers. Because I really think in Uri's mind he's thinking, well, maybe I do. Maybe I really can do this. Let me just try it.
Okay, gently lift. I'll hold it here. Gently lift up. You see if it's bent there. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Yes. It's bending more. Can you see?
Wait, what?
It is very much bent, I can say.
Well, where?
I love that. Where?
It was very
Now,
straight.
it was straight. I hope the camera can focus on this. Oh, it's.
Yeah.
It does look like there's a slight
No,
bend in
it'll
it.
keep bending. It bends more. I'll put it here and it'll keep going. Look.
Do we have
There,
to-
I had no.
Can we cut away again and still come back here?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back after another word from one of our sponsors. Your Uri was telling me you don't feel what, strong tonight?
I don't
Is that?
feel strong.
What?
It's not all tonight. Right now, I'm feeling being pressed, and then I can't.
Well, I'm
I
not
can't
trying
do
to
my
press
thing.
you. I really not.
No, you're only telling me. Well, will you try that or that or that?
Well, I thought that was the idea of. No, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to put you down.
Where's the
I
spoon?
didn't
Did it
mean
bend
that,
more?
Patrick.
This didn't bend much, and right now here I'm stuck. I don't feel for it more, so I don't want to be stuck either on an envelope. Many people are skeptical about these things.
Listen, if you can do it, you can do it. If not, then what are you doing? Why are you on the show if you're not feeling it? Like, none of this makes any sense. He kind of got lucky with that spoon. I don't know, we didn't really get to see it before he placed it in that person's hand. The only thing I could think is that Uri saw that little divot, that little bend in the spoon when it was on the table, and he thought, okay, if I just grab the spoon, keep that, because he does kind of keep the stick of the spoon covered. Yeah, so we never really get a shot of what the spoon looked like beforehand. Johnny, being the gangster that he is, was like, we're not just going to let him come on and do his little hokey pokey thing and act like it's real. If he really has these powers, let's show the audience. Let's really get items that he doesn't have access to. And as you can see, you get the excuse, I'm just not feeling it. Everybody's just like, come on, do your thing. And Uri's just, I can't. Because you need your, whatever, your spoons that bend easier, or, this or that, whatever it is that you need. I mean, when I was a magician, I used to carry around a pack of cards. I would carry around a gaff deck. And I used to go into classrooms for classes and do magic. I used to do this one trick, and I did it in the lunchroom one time, where I had a pencil and I borrowed a ring from somebody, and I put the pencil on the ring, and I was able to make the ring levitate off the pencil. The way that the trick was done, there was a little bit of some string involved, let's just say. And so one time I went to do a trick in front of a class, and the string broke right before I went to do the trick, and so I couldn't do the trick, and so I literally had to use this excuse, and I was just like, I'm not feeling it today, I can't do my... It was really embarrassing and horrible, and I think I scrubbed most of it out of my mind. So this is what was on one of James Randi's shows, where he had these people who claim to have powers, had him on the show to prove that they had powers. Now, this guy comes out, and it is amazing. This guy claims that he can move pages in a phone book without touching them, and as you'll see...
Now, you claim to have psychic powers, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Is this something that you have discovered recently, or have you known of it since childhood? How did it all begin?
Well, everyone's born with it. It's just a matter of development.
Everybody's got the power. You just gotta harness it. You gotta be able to manifest. Okay.
With just psychic powers?
Just psychic powers.
Just
Very
psychic
well.
Powers. No trickery involved. And he does these weird hand... Oh, so this one's with the pencil. He moves the pencil first. All he's doing is just going like this, and wind happens. And that's what turns the pen. And that's what's going to turn the pages. And as you'll see, he can do it fine. But once the styrofoam shows up, all of a sudden...
Is it true that you can also turn the pages of this telephone directory?
Yes, it is.
And you will do that for us?
I'll try.
I like how he calls it a telephone directory. It's a phone book, sir.
You would like to open it to any page, or
Any
should you
page.
want me to do it?
I love that. Any page. Just, it's a free selection.
Ready?
How can it be fake? You chose any page. All right. Yeah, you can literally see as he walked up to it. I love the head. Puts his head down like, I just did the most amazing thing. I just parted the Red Sea.
Randy maintains that you did not use psychic power, but that it was trickery. Now, you saw James' demonstration from backstage.
Yes, I did.
You are prepared to pay him $10,000 if he can turn the page of the telephone directory with certain controls. Is
That's
that
right.
You have the $10,000, do you, Randy?
I do indeed.
Look at his face.
Now, what I have here is particles of a white plastic, which, when given a good puff, good heavy puff of air, will, I think, rather conclusively show whether or not blowing is a method accomplished. Now, it will not, perhaps, in some way differentiate between genuine psychic power and actual blowing, but it certainly should be very interesting indeed to see what now occurs.
James?
Ready?
Oh, man. And I don't know if you saw, but there's actually 3 judges as well. There's like a scientist and philosopher or something, somebody else. And they basically judge whether or not what they saw was actual psychic powers or somebody being tricky. I could just imagine what's going on in his mind. He's just trying to think of a way. How can I, 1 minute later, how can I turn that page without the styrofoam? He's shaking his head.
This time.
How many pages?
Why are you, why?
Like
Okay.
that.
How many times do I have to move this page? Why are you asking that? Again, stalling.
The styrofoam and the lights form electricity which pulls the page.
Okay.
Look.
What? See the see the light from the ceiling. It comes down to the styrofoam, makes electricity, and the pages get stuck, and I can't because electricity. Okay, if there was electricity, how does that stop you from turning the page with your mind? I love that the paper goes in
Pulls
the
the
opposite
page
direction. But yeah.
Instead of freeing the pages.
All right, and what would you like to ask us to ask Randy to allow you to do or for me to
To
do?
either take something else, either lighter or something that is going to keep, that isn't going to form like static electricity.
You mean put something else, some other material around
Something
here?
that is not foam. Foam causes static electricity, and the lights is what heats it up.
Foam is what creates static electricity, and the lights heat it up. I mean, what does that even mean? Again, he just pulled that right out his ass because he knows the only thing I can do at this moment is just buy time. So I'm just going to make up a bunch of excuses as to why I can't do my magical powers. Instead of being an adult and admitting that you don't have fucking powers, I'm going to come up with all these excuses so that I don't look like a fool on television. Because again, I really think a lot of these people, it starts off as a real thing. Like they really believe they have these powers. As they grow into adulthood, they just never check that belief. And then even when it's clear to them and everybody that they don't have powers, they still believe it because it's in their brain and it's part of their identity. If that belief is not true, then I don't exist.
I've heard the question, but the question is not valid because it's making an assumption which is not true. The foam does not in any way create static electricity, and Mr. Heydrich, in demonstrating that the pages were clinging together, didn't demonstrate it to my satisfaction. I think we could perhaps ask the judges for their opinion on that.
Judges?
Whatever static electricity exists in the styrofoam would not really affect the movement of the page or the clinging of the pages together, in my opinion.
I would add that if this is in fact psychic functioning, I don't really see why that would make a difference.
Very well. Randy, would you allow me to turn perhaps half a dozen pages and then put them back?
Oh, yes, you may do that.
1, 2, be helpful to you?
The static is going to still be here because of the foam.
They just told you that that's a nonsensical thing. Foam and the lights is not creating static electricity. And even if it was, how is that interfering? You have psychic abilities. You're telling me that electricity can just stop your psychic ability. I mean, what are we talking about here? Where are you getting your psychic abilities from? Like discount store? There's electricity. I'm not going to be able to make sure all the lights are out.
Well, it is the opinion of the judges that there is not enough static formed by the foam to be a problem. So,
come up with another excuse, buddy boy.
Under the conditions agreed upon, it would seem that now you should at least try.
Dude, he did that thing that people do when they know that there's just no way out, where you're telling them something that they just don't want to accept, and they do that thing where they're just like, oh. Like, just watch his head.
Under the conditions
here.
agreed upon, it
Just looking around.
would seem that now you should at least try with psychic power to turn the page of the telephone directory, James.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Let me sit. He's like literally laughing. Bro, oh my God. Literally laughing as if he knows. You're not going to be able to do this, man. Just find one chink in the armor. It's sealed tight, man. You ain't going to be able to do your trick. Because if you do it, it's all going to be exposed. What is it?
It's not going to turn for you?
No, it isn't.
Well, have you reached the point then when at which we can declare the demonstration terminated?
This isn't a magician's trick. I can't just come up, bang, bang, and it's over.
This isn't a magician's trick. I just can't come out here and bam, bam, it's over. I mean, what a nonsensical statement. The question was, can we determine the demonstration to be terminated? And your response is, what do you mean, bam, bam, it's over? As if like what you're doing is not a magician's trick. It's wind. It's just something that he just off the top of his head, because he doesn't have a good excuse. There is no good excuse because he knows what he's doing is a magician's trick.
This isn't a magician's trick. I can't just come up, bang, bang, and it's over. I have to be to where I can work with something small and then big, you know, to build up my own self.
But isn't that what you did? You started with a pen. You started with something small. You did it. Then you moved up to the telephone directory. You did that okay. But then the minute styrofoam was introduced, all of a sudden, you fell apart. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. It's not turning phone book pages, I guarantee that.
So this is, you know, it isn't a trick. It has to be done. You know, this is just, it's power. It's mental power.
This guy just seems like an absolute... He would lie his way out of a paper bag, that's for sure. He seems like he would lie to his own mother. And if he would lie to his own mother, he's gonna lie to you. So don't listen to him. Keep phone books far away from this guy. Although if you have some styrofoam around, that'll... Not a magician's trick. You can't just come out and bang, bang, it's over. I'm sure that's what his barber said when he was done. You know, bang, bang, it's over. Get a bowl, trim around it.
The conditions agreed upon have been fulfilled.
I have gone through many hundreds of these tests with many hundreds of people who claim to have psychic powers. And quite frankly, it's more or less the same story every time. When a simple, direct, very uncomplicated protocol is used and the control is applied, the psychic forces don't seem to be present, if indeed they are ever present at all.
Bro, don't even know what a protocol is. Man, if there's anything that rubs me the wrong way, it's people that claim things that are just not true. You know, just don't get a bowl cut and put on some type of Japanese gown and go on television and act like you can turn phone book pages with your mind, because it's not going to go well for you, especially if James Randi is there with a beard.
You've agreed to attempt to find a piece of zinc ore like this one right over here, which is concealed under one of the 7 boxes that you see behind us. First, please show us the effect of your dowsing rod on this sample of zinc ore, and we'll just conceal the sample with a box, so the conditions are exactly the same as when you come to do the test.
You know, I don't see these a lot anymore, but I feel like they would have some type of tuning fork or something, and it would jiggle, and they'd be able to... You guys know what I'm talking about? This rod, but it was like a fork or something, and they'd be able to, you know where a certain object is because the tuning fork would, tell them or something.
Now, to explain how the rod works, when you're facing the ore, I don't know if you can see this, but we put a white-ended tip there. It has a slight sideways move when you're there. Take it off, and it dies. See it die, comes in, and it dies again. So to amplify that, I give it a voluntary upward movement. So aim it at the ore, and what do you get? You get a large oval form, which is easy to distinguish. If I take it to the side, see it die?
I can literally
Now
see him
eyes,
moving his hand. Dude.
Well, that seems to be a very dramatic demonstration. Now, will you please try to locate the ore sample taken from the same piece of zinc ore which is hidden in one of the boxes behind us? Of course, if chance alone were operating here, you'd have a 1 in 7 chance of finding the sample at your first attempt.
He looks so nervous. He don't know what's about to go down. I'm sure the results that we get are going to be very similar to chance.
Using guesswork alone, we'd expect you to locate the zinc ore sample by your 3rd or 4th attempt. Good luck, Clive.
Okay.
Thank you very much, James.
It's interesting that he gives that information.
Right, I'll take number 1 first.
Before
in the upward movement.
Oh my God. As a grown man, how embarrassing this must be.
There's no there.
You're holding a rod and bouncing it and acting as if... Oh, so that's the one that has the zinc in it.
No.
Oh my God. Nope. How old is this guy?
No.
I love that. Just nope. That's not it. Little do you know. Little does your rod know. You can literally see him moving his hand. This is... Oh, this is so...
Come back to that.
embarrassing. Because this guy's got to be in his, what, 60s? 50s or 60s? I mean, dude. It just goes to show you, like, people will believe what they want to believe. Belief is very powerful. Like I said, if you don't check your beliefs, they turn into facts. They just, without you even trying.
Well, James, we'll bank on 7, see if it's there.
On number 7. All
Number
right,
7,
let's take a look and see.
Well, we already know he's wrong.
Now, even I don't know underneath which box the zinc ore is, and I see that it's not here. Well, Clive, would you like to have a second try at it?
Let's try number 4 again.
Number 4.
No.
Oh!
Well, it was wrong, so let's try another attempt, shall we?
Zinc. Now, James said, by chance alone, it would be by the 3rd or 4th attempt. So I bet you it's either going to be this attempt or the next attempt.
Well, we'll try 2.
We'll try number 2.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look.
I wonder if the length of the rod matters, you know, like the
Here we
longer the
are at
rod, the
box
more
number
accurate the
2,
results.
The third guess, and there we are. There's the piece of zinc.
There it is.
Zinc ore, pardon me. Well, Clive, would you join me here for a minute?
Join me next to the
We said
sink.
that by chance you'd find it on your 3rd or 4th attempt. You found it on the 3rd attempt, so your results, sadly, seem to be no better than chance. But we'd like to thank you very much for coming tonight.
Man, that is just... He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to respond, how to fuck... Oh, my God. It's literally just catching you with your hand in the cookie jar. And everybody is just looking at you with your hand in the cookie jar. And you really can't say anything because we all see your hand in the fucking cookie jar. Stupid rod. What even is that? How does that... The things that people come up with, man, it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Your rod wasn't long enough.
What we're concerned with tonight is whether or not it's possible for James to perceive an aura through obstacles. And to determine that, we've agreed upon the following experiment. We're now going to reveal to our audience here in the studio the 5 volunteers behind the screen. Now, each one is standing beneath a letter, A, B, C, D,
They're all wearing hats.
and E. Can you see all the auras through this screen here?
Yes.
You can. I'm now going to ask someone at random to step from behind the screen. Will John step around from behind the screen? James, can you still see his aura around his body?
Yes.
And which position did John come from, do you believe?
C.
From C, John?
Okay, hold on. I thought when he asked him if he could see his aura, I thought he meant like the shadow. Can you still see somebody behind there? And I was like, how? And he said yes, and I'm like, how? There's no light on. But okay, so this guy, I guess, can read and see the aura around people. What the, like, dude, what do you want, LSD?
James, if, as you claim, you can see auras through the screen, John should now be standing in the same position as he was when he was behind the screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, will Helen please come forward?
Helen.
Now, James, from what position did Helen come?
D.
From D. Helen, will you step into position D, please?
What's with the hats?
Can I now ask Andrew to come forward, please? Andrew is the 3rd person from behind the screen.
Not that I don't like the
There he
hats,
is,
but
and
what is the reason for them? Because there's no way they all wore that same hat,
And
just
finally,
out of
would
chance.
Danny step forward, please? Of course, there's no choice about which letter James thinks you are.
James
so
Randy
Danny,
gave
you'll
them
take
those
up
hats,
position.
right?
Just a moment ago, these 5 persons were standing behind the screen. James, if you have them all in the correct order, it will be good evidence that you can see auras through screens, as you have a less than 1% chance of matching all of these 5 correctly by chance alone, just by guesswork.
Just by chance alone, 1% chance. That's not very good, man.
By chance alone, you should get, the expectation is, one of them correct, if it's only chance. Let's see if James managed to beat the odds. To these 5 people, I ask, please reveal which position you were originally standing in by showing us, I think it's inside your hat, isn't it? Take them off and let's see.
That's such great television, you know. You're just like wondering, what are the hats for? Why are these people wearing the same damn hat? It's because the reveal, it's the reveal of the reveal. That's, I like the layers like a hat. Layers like a hat. That doesn't make much sense, but okay.
C, B, D,
oh, he got 2
A,
right.
and E.
You got 2.
So out of this, we obtained 2 correct. All right. So, James, you got 2 out of 5 correct, and I take my hat off to you for trying. Would your volunteers please go back to the correct positions in which they actually belong? The results are only slightly better than those predicted by chance. It seems something went a bit wrong this time. What explanation could there be, James?
Well, it's quite possible that,
You don't have any powers. That could be it. You don't have any powers. You can't see auras. You're making all this up in front of us. And you're an adult, so it's not good.
What explanation could there be, James?
well, it's quite possible that, this has been the first time that I've ever attempted this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite possible that, I've allowed myself, to come into it, okay?
Wait, well, hold on. What do you mean it's the first time? No. There's no way that you would go on a television show and do something to show off your magical powers and you've never done it before? You've never practiced it? What are you talking about? I don't know. He's probably meaning, like, I've never done this on a stage with this many people. I love how James Randi, literally just asks him, man, so why do you think it didn't work? His answer, of course, makes no flubba-wubba sense at all.
What explanation could there be, James?
What do you think, James?
Well, it's quite possible that, this has been the first time that I've ever attempted this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite possible that, I've allowed myself, to come into it, okay?
I've allowed myself to come into it. What, again, it's just like with the other one we saw, whenever asked after their demonstration didn't work, why didn't it work? The answer is just never making sense. It's just, I may have allowed myself to come into it, okay? No, not okay. It doesn't make any sense. What do you mean you didn't allow yourself to come in?
You did say you could see them through obstacles.
Yes, I can, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, James, for coming tonight.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I may have allowed myself to get into it, so, okay? Well, you did say that you could see their auras, right? Yes, I can see their auras. Then you only got 2 right.
Well, thank you very much, James, for coming tonight.
Thanks, James. And they just leave them on the screen.
Popoff seemed to have divine powers.
Alice, is it Gould? Alice Gould?
Oh, God, these guys.
He knew their names.
Stand up, Alice.
As well as the afflictions they'd come to cure.
God is touching that thyroid condition right now.
Oh, yeah.
Just lift up your hands, get ready, here it comes.
He also knew the personal details of their
We're going to
lives.
hear good news from Charles before everything is over. I'll tell you, he's going to be completely delivered because of your prayers. Here it comes, complete healing in Jesus. Woo!
Jesus! Woo! I bet you I haven't seen this video, but I'm already going to guess that these people, when they come into this church, they fill out what's called a prayer card, okay? And basically giving the church all the information that they need, and then that prayer card goes right to the pastor. And then the pastor has that information, and then he can then go in front of all these boomers and be like, where's Alice with the thyroid nerve issue? God's going to touch her right now. Jesus, Hail Mary. And then she faints, and her thyroid issue is still there. He just goes right up to her and just, Jesus' name. Let me whack you. Oh, is she on the floor? You just assaulted a woman.
Revelations were other than divine.
Probably
The
an
radio
earpiece.
scanner we brought to the hall picked up a decidedly worldly source.
Hello, Petey. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
Is it
Popoff was being prompted by his wife through a wireless earpiece. She'd gotten her information from prayer cards filled out by the faithful before the show began.
She has arthritis all over.
burning this arthritis right out of your body? Take a few steps just to make the devil mad. Hallelujah.
Right out of your body? Take a few steps, make that devil mad. You gonna make that devil mad, I'm gonna tell you right now. Oh, God.
There she goes. Just walk with me. Oh, glory to God. She's not going to need that walker anymore.
Glory to
God's
God.
just putting new strength, new health. Burning that arthritis out of her body.
Burn
just
it
keep
out.
going. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I was able to
Touch my
arrange for
body.
another-
You know, a lot of people, some people might say, even if it's a lie, if it helps the person, then what's the harm? And this is what I say. It's a lie, okay? And lying is never good. You don't ever want to lie to people. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have certain forms of entertainment, like hypnosis, right? Hypnosis is a real thing. You can really be hypnotized. You can really get to the subconscious. When you're talking about actually talking to the dead or like this guy where, you know, you're literally getting fed information and then acting as if it's from God. And, you know, maybe that woman in that moment, you know, with the walker, maybe she did really feel like God is going to make it so I don't have to use this walker and da-da-da-da. And maybe for the next day or two, she's feeling so great that she doesn't need that walker. But eventually, Mother Nature's going to show up at her door and she's going to need that walker for whatever reason. So you can't just lie to people and make them feel like their ailments don't exist, okay? You still want to make sure that you're taking care of your body. And people that go to these churches and stuff, they want it to be real. You know, like they want to be able to talk to their dead relative. They want this particular thing to be true. This has to be real. I have to be able, and then just the slightest bit of hope, just the slightest bit of this might be true, all of a sudden they're believing it wholeheartedly, and that's not good. Especially if then you're going to open your pocketbook and give this person all this money when they're not really talking to your dead relative. They're just taking your money. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this video. Let me know if you ever been to a medium, if they were right about some of the stuff they said, if they were wrong. I really want to know your guys' opinions, gals and girls and gays. Okay, but we don't know everything, and maybe somebody can do something special that we'll find out one day, but with the ones we've seen today, nope. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for watching until the end. I really appreciate you guys and girls and everybody in between. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. That's it.